good to go when I tell you? Okay. All right. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to our debate tonight for Harrisville City. This is going to be more of a conversational format, just so everybody knows. And we're live streaming right now, so those of you who are at home, you can watch this later at your convenience over the weekend as we get ready for the upcoming election. We appreciate everyone being here. I think what I'm going to do out of the gate is I should introduce myself. This is my name is Representative Ryan Wilcox, and I have the pleasure to newly, again, it was like 10 years ago, but I get to represent Harrisville again, so it's good to be here with you. And of course, this has been organized tonight by the Weber County Republican Party, District 7 leadership, which is Spencer and Jason. So thank you for putting that together. Yes.
Can you turn that TikTok off?
Oh.
Oh, I thought it was your clock. No.
Oh.
My God.
We have a TikTok sound that is not the clock, and it does. I thought it was the clock too. Grover, okay.
I decided it was distracting.
Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just I think allow everyone from my left to right to introduce yourself, and so we'll give you just a 3-minute each introduction, and unless we determined an order outside of that, okay, I'm just doing random here, okay? Good. We'll just do it left to right and give you 3 minutes each, and then we'll go into questions and answers. Thank you.
All right. My name is Dan Gilboy, and we are blessed to be able to call Harrisville our home. We have 4 children. They're very involved in a lot of sports and dance and drama, music, all sorts of things like that. And I'll just say that Harrisville, I think, is a great place to raise a family. We have a lot of different activities that are very nearby, and we appreciate that. My wife is actually originally from Ogden. I'm from Wisconsin. But we've been out here 6 years, and my wife's grandma, Barb Barrow, lived in Harrisville for many years, and my wife's mother lived in Harrisville as well, and so we kind of came back near family, and it's a blessing to be able to live here. We enjoy all the different hiking and trails and skiing at Nordic Valley, and just really enjoy all the different nature here. I've been a pastor for 17 years, and I currently pastor Canyon Road Church, and that's down in Ogden. And I think because of that, I've dealt with a lot of conflict resolution, a lot of communication, church budgets, a lot of varying opinions, and trying to get everybody to kind of come together and agree. But I think I'm a pretty good problem solver and a good communicator. And I think some of those abilities and talents can be used for our city council. Just some of my hopes for our city is I love Harrisville, and my hope is that we can feel more connected, more of the kind of a small. We do have kind of a smaller city at 7,000 people ish. And I enjoy that. It's nice to be near stuff, but kind of have a smaller city. But I just hope that we can feel more connected. My hope is to bring more transparency to the city council, and also incorporate more just community involvement from people, from churches, from local small businesses, and just feel more involved, more community oriented and centered. I would also just say that I'm a fiscal conservative. I hope to have lower taxes. I hope to bring fresh ideas to our city. And I just think, again, that effective communication is so vital. I think there's been a little bit of communication breakdown, and so then people kind of jump to assumptions. I just would also say that I advocate for fresh, forward-thinking ideas. And my hope is that God will guide our city as we seek Him and seek His will for our city and stick to our constitutional values. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a reminder, we have our timers here, and I should recognize the support from our neighboring city. And I make sure I speak into the microphone. So thank you, Jason. Bonnie, thanks for setting that up and for roping Rich into helping us tonight. I haven't also been asked to remind the candidates, and I apologize, I didn't do that before. When you're doing your presentation or answering, if you would stand, because the people want to see you, they don't really want to see me. So stand when you do your intros and that. Thank you.
All right. My name is Karen Taylor Fawcett. I am a nurse practitioner. I work in the emergency department at 2 different facilities in Ogden. We have lived in Ogden for about 10 years, and I have moved 27 times in my life. This is the longest time I've ever lived anywhere, and it was about time I put down some roots and got involved in the community and tried to make where I live, my place and our place, and have that sense of community. And that's really why I'm running, is to be able to foster that. I just really love this area. I love the people of Harrisville. I see a lot of opportunities for growth, to bring in businesses to help us, bear the tax burden, and a lot of opportunities for growth and to make some good changes.
All right, that's our favorite when we leave this extra time. Thank you.
I'm Grover Wilhelmsen, and I presently serve on the City Council and have done for three and a half terms, and had a chance to go through the ups and downs and the challenges and being able to sit on the other side of the City Council when people are very frustrated at raising taxes, but balancing the budget is probably one of the biggest things, and being able to give good services to our community. That's the core of what a city should be doing, is good services. And so you consider everything from the facilities that we have, and as well as our police department and also administration, as well as parks. That balances pretty well what a city should be doing. And it's not easy sitting on one side listening to what the needs are and balancing the budget on the other when you have only X amount of dollars in taxes to do. A little bit about me is we've lived here in Harrisville over 34 years, and we've decided we've raised our family here, and it's been a great place to put our roots down and enjoy serving and turning around and serving back into the community and giving back. That to us. So my concern here is to make sure that we continue to progressively move forward as a city, but at the same time balance budgets, being able to make sure that we're spending our dollars and getting the best out of what we can. And I promise you right now, we do have excellent services. We have excellent staff that all the departments that are committed to do the best they can for our citizens, and they go above and beyond what they do. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Blair Christensen. I've lived here for over 30 years. My parents were actually born and raised here, and that's where they met and married. And anyway, long ties here to Harrisville. Harrisville's a great place. I was born and raised here, and with my kids, they were half born and raised in Ogden and half born and raised here. So anyway, it's been a great opportunity to be part of Harrisville. I was previously serving on the planning commission for about 8 years. I decided, you know what, if I wanted to make a difference, I needed to get involved. Because what was happening at that time, I was not happy about. So I chose to get involved, got on the planning commission, and then for the past 4 years, I've been serving on the city council. And so that's why I want to continue to serve, because I know it's part of our culture. We need to make a difference. We need to do what we can to serve our community. And as others have mentioned, taxes are always a big thing, but in order to run a city, you have to keep the taxes where they need to be. Whether it's raising more, whether it's keeping them the same, it's something that has to be done. And what a difficult decision it was that we had to make, and that we did. And it was the right decision, and we'll continue to do what we need to do to make sure that our city is ran the way it needs to be. And as also previously mentioned, we have great city staff. City staff's amazing. They do a great job, and we need to continue to support them as well as do the things for the citizens are what matter. They're great group of people, and I'm proud and glad to be part of them. Thank you.
Thank you each. That's always fun. We don't have to cut you off. Thank you. There's a follow basic format tonight. Question and answers. 2 minutes per candidate. So that will be our new for our timers. That will be our new timing. There won't be any rebuttals to a statement unless a candidate is called out directly. If a candidate is called out directly, then we'll give you another minute to respond for anybody that's called out. Again, probably shouldn't do that, just so you know. Okay. We'll give you a final pitch at the end of 2 minutes. And we started a little bit late, so what do you want to go to?
7:30.
Okay, we'll get in there. I'll be fair with the questions, and then we'll see where we're at. But we should get through most of this stuff with 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of do the same thing, go random on these things. I don't know which ones I'm going to ask to who yet. So we're just gonna go through this and see how it goes. I'm going to start. I did. Let's see. I heard effective communication. I wrote that down here with Dan, with his. So I'm going to go to Dan first, and I think question 18. Okay. This one says small communities thrive on close communication with their leaders. How will you maintain open lines of communication and transparency in your role as a council member, ensuring that local concerns are heard and addressed?
All right.
Good question.
So we're supposed to stand?
Yes, please.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I think again there's a lot of different ways to communicate, but there needs to be open communication, and so I think different age groups appreciate different forms of communication. I know some people will never answer their telephone when you call them, and so maybe you text them, maybe you send them a Facebook message. And so again, I just think there needs to be lots of different ways that people can get a hold of you. Some people like to write letters. And so again, for open communication, whatever it takes, Facebook, social media, writing, texting, whatever it is, you need to be able to be gotten a hold of, and then I think respond. I've heard some different concerns where people have reached out to city council members, have received no response. And again, sometimes we're going to be able to do what people want, sometimes not, but we should still respect them and respond to them. One other thing I just want to say is in North Ogden, there's a guy named Philip Swanson who's a city council member there. I don't know him at all. I just see him on Facebook, honestly. But he's very active in some of the North Ogden community Facebook groups, and he answers questions and directs people to where they need to go. And I just think, again, a lot of times people are frustrated because they don't know where to go or where to turn to get their problem solved. But Philip has been very active on Facebook, on this social media, on the North Ogden community group. And that's something that I'd like to do is help people, find solutions to their questions and problems. So, thanks.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. For the next one, we're going to go ahead and turn to Councilman Christensen. And we're going to go with question 19. How can you ensure that our small community remains affordable and accessible for all residents while preserving the unique character of our town? I mean, the growth question is always fun, right? Okay, here you go.
Thank you. For the growth, we need to really work on getting some growth here in City of Harrisville. The community is awesome. We have lots of good communities and families, but we do need to start inquiring more about some businesses directly on Highway 89. I've heard in the past we don't want Riverdale Road on Highway 89. I think it's necessary that we push for a little bit of Riverdale Road on Highway 89. And that's something that we do need in our small city. So that way we can keep those taxes where we can, keep them a little bit lower so that we can use the businesses for that part of our, for our city.
Yeah, just for the record, there's no danger of that turning into Riverdale Road. Yeah, whoever had that concern out there, that's not possible. Okay. All right, let's go back to the other side of the table here with Karen. Karen, question 15. Oh, by the way, these questions were submitted, so these are sort of random, and I don't know who did them. So whoever's listening, send them in. I hope they're watching or here. Okay. Question 15. Civic engagement and transparency are crucial for a well-functioning government. How will you ensure that the City Council remains accessible and responsive to the needs and concerns of the public while upholding the values of limited government and individual liberty?
All right, that's a great question because I'm all for limited government because we should be servants of the people that we are representing. That's what this whole country was founded on, is representing those who can't represent themselves. So as far as transparency goes, we really need to have a lot of updates on our websites, have those Facebook accounts maintained, and then there has to be some, I guess, a mutual responsibility between the City Council and then our community members, that we can't lay all the responsibility on one party or the other for them to be able to get that information. We have to do our part and expect that they do a little bit of research themselves. But I really think that that transparency, being honest, we can update minutes on our website, live feed our meetings. A lot of those things will help. Yes, it can. And a lot of those things are incredibly important to having our transparency and maintaining that open line of communication.
Thank you. I'll try to hold my comments until after you're done next time. Apologies. Okay. But this is honestly pretty slick, so thanks again to Jason and Hadley for sending all this stuff up for us tonight. We appreciate that. All right, Councilman Wilhelmsen, we're going to go to question 13. Promoting a business-friendly environment is essential. How will you ensure that our city attracts investment and encourages entrepreneurship, creating opportunities for our residents? Yeah, I'll do it again. Promoting a business-friendly environment is essential. How will you ensure that our city attracts investment and encourages entrepreneurship, creating opportunities for our residents?
Well, I know that we've had a lot of people who have been concerned about empty lots, like the one next to Chili's, next to Walmart. And right now that's owned by a business conglomerate, Boyer. That's many times as we've been promoting, trying to get businesses in, and even with the manager at Chili's would love to have another restaurant there. I think there has to be a communication amongst businesses who own lands, and yet at the same time we need to promote businesses within. I am a person, a private business, and I have a business of my own. I think that's one of the things that's helped is that we have found that through our business that taxes don't always stay in Harrisville. That when taxes come, my wife has to literally document at each city where that tax goes, and so that money is sent in. I wish it would all stay in Harrisville. That would help as far as that. But promoting other businesses coming in, I think, is word of mouth. I think it also is communicating with other people, as we have sat down as groups and working with businesses, and we've had mixed land. That type of thing is going on. That's our first concern. We are not just building buildings. We want to have buildings where commercial can be brought in. And there are some that are very strong saying, okay, we'll do that. So that's one of the things we're doing, as development is doing. We're trying to develop the communication as well as bringing in small businesses. We can do that. That just brings the revenue back in. It's not all big box stores. It's small businesses that need to maintain this culture and environment that we have here.
Okay, thank you. And don't get too comfortable because I'm going to reverse the order this time. You got to go for you're next again, Grover. Sorry. Okay, so this one, and somebody's sending questions for incumbents and non-incumbents, so I'm just going to ask in that context. Okay, so for incumbents, so Mr. Wilhelmsen, in 2021, Harrisville passed a hefty property tax increase amounting to 166% rate increase, despite opposition by several citizens of the city. What do you say to citizens that feel that the city council ignored their concerns and did whatever they wanted on the property tax rate? It's a loaded question. So
Sure it is.
there you go.
And it's a very fair question when it comes down to it. 166% is. I had an individual last night at the fair say, 166, we're going to do that again. No, we're not. And so you have to look back all the way back into 2018 to see what was happening with our tax rates. And and I was sitting on those city councils, so I know. City council voted strongly not to raise taxes, not even to recoup what the tax was coming up. And so year after year after year, well, if you're going to balance the budget, you can only balance the budget so far. And pretty soon we're withdrawing money from our rainy day fund to balance the budget year after year. You compound that on with also, now you have people who say, well, you're not paying me enough, I'm going to find a job the other way. You bring people in that are brand new. Every time you bring a new person in, it costs the city thousands of dollars. Even inexperienced people who forget, oh, I should have billed for this, we lose thousands of dollars. Well, that's money off the table that we never recover. Not only top of that, but then you have people who now are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs. The police department lost 3 people or 4 people, and city administration lost 3. We were fortunate that we didn't have a heavy winter. We only had to plow the road 7 times with 2 people. So when we start talking about raising budgets, we were seriously in the hole because the city said, no, we're not going to raise taxes. So fortunately, we had monies that were coming in from the CARES Act that helped us to bring us back up. And that money brought us up, but it didn't balance the budget. So raising the property taxes brought us back into a fair share of where we could now only raise the budget by recouping what we would lose. And so that's a hard one when it comes down to it, but that's the bottom line of it.
Looks like we're out of time. Thank you. Okay, now for the non-incumbents. That's you, Karen. Okay. What is your view of the recent tax increase, and what would you have done differently as a city council member, if anything?
That's a fair question, and it's a hard question because I wasn't involved in a lot of that decision-making and a lot of the things that led up to that. I think the biggest thing is it is a hard pill to swallow when it is that much money, but kind of trying to see both sides of this equation. What I probably would have done is try to raise it incrementally over several, like 2 or 3 years, rather than one large raise. But going back and having done the research for running for this position now, I see that there's a lot of things that had to be done, and that it was just one of those things that was just a really, really hard decision. But moving forward, that's still something where we have to listen to those that we are representing, balanced with what they actually want. So can we achieve the things that they want for their city within the limits that they're giving? And sometimes we have to make those hard choices, and hopefully the really hard ones have already been made. But in the event that we do, that's really what has to be done. We have to have that transparency, the open conversation, and then ultimately ask ourselves, what's the end game? What's going to get us to what the people of Harrisville really want?
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to go back to Councilman Blair. Harrisville City, and I am totally unaware of this one, by the way. This is going to be fun. I have no idea what you're going to say. Harrisville City has had residents ask about possibly having a city cemetery, which may or may not be possible due to water levels and such. There have been proposals to join neighboring cemetery districts. Should the city have its own cemetery or join in with the other cemetery districts? Why or why not?
That is a really good question. Thank you. This one's probably not too easy to answer. At one time, we felt that, hey, we need a cemetery here in Harrisville. How many of these people lived here all their lives and would they want to be buried here in Harrisville? And some of them are going to tell you, yes, they would. Where would we put this? That's a good question. As you mentioned, the water levels, there are places at the water levels, there's no possibility that we could do that. But there's other places that we possibly could. Joining another district, I don't have a full answer on this. I haven't done enough research. I have done some research. But joining another district, I believe is probably the right thing to do because of the amount of property we have here in Harrisville that we need to develop. So I'm okay with joining another district, and that's how I feel about this topic.
All right, thank you. Okay, Pastor Dan, or I don't know if that's appropriate to say or not. I apologize if it's not. Okay. Question number 17. What will your, this is a good one for a non-incumbent, what will your process be for learning about issues before voting?
Yeah, I think, again, sometimes you're kind of caught on it's on the spot, right? And so you just have to go with your gut, go with what you know. But if you do have an opportunity to kind of poll different people in the community, different business members, like I said earlier, sometimes face-to-face, sometimes social media. Again, I know North Ogden kind of tried to do this, and online polling, and it's like this big, long registration process. It was for Cherry Days stuff, but it's like I don't want to enter in all my personal information and fill out this huge thing just to be able to say I like to have the parade on the 4th of July and not on the 9th. And so, again, it is hard to figure out some of the different things that people want. But again, I think if we're out in the community, if we are, with different business owners, with different people, a lot of times we'll have an understanding, an idea of what the community wants.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to mix it up again, random. So back to Councilmember Christensen. A common concern from city residents is government transparency. How will you openly communicate city issues with the residents that will invite questions and participation?
Thank you. One thing that we already have done, our city council meetings are already, what do you call it? It's not Zoomed anymore, whatever you want to call it. It's being shared, and they're shared every week, or excuse me, every month. So people are welcome to get on there and watch these, participate. When it comes to their 3 minutes at the end, they can do that. Encourage them to come to the meetings. Encourage them to read the minutes. They're there every month. They have been, even during the tax portion, they were there. They had the opportunity to come and talk to us about the taxes. And then we asked them to please come back the following week so we could explain why the taxes, and out of the 150, 3 of them showed up. So what I'm trying to get at is there is an opportunity there already for them to be involved. I do like one of the other council members, or one of the other ones that are running, what they said, be more open, maybe get the Facebook going where people can see that. People are more aware, because some people aren't aware, some people are challenged and don't want to get on the computer and look at this stuff. I know that. I'm one of those, and some of my family members are those too. But if we can encourage participation in online or YouTube channel or whatever the case may be, and get more people involved in the community so they know that this is an option. This is something they can do, and they can participate, and we will listen. That's something that I think is very important that they know, that I don't think they do right now.
Thank you. Okay, Karen, you're up. You ready? Question 20. All right. As a city council member, you will be approving and codifying city ordinances or laws that affect citizens. How will you handle changes to city ordinances, and what safeguards will you put in place to ensure that citizens' rights are not adversely impacted through such ordinances?
Okay, I'll try and remember all the parts.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little wordy. I'll do it again if you need.
Okay, yes.
As a city council member, you will be approving and codifying city ordinances. I'm just going to cut off the extra words. Okay, that affect citizens. How will you handle changes to city ordinances, and what safeguards will you put in place to ensure that citizens' rights are not adversely impacted?
Okay. So first of all, I mean, anything we do has got to be within our ordinances and within the Constitution. First and foremost, we protect our citizens, right? That's right at the beginning of that's in the preamble. I feel like that's something that we need to have forefront in our mind when we're doing anything. And in the ordinances, I think we need to be really cognizant of things that are reasonable and things that are enforceable. Because if they're not, why do we have them? It makes no sense to me. So really, we just need to be really cognizant of what our rights are, where our limitations are as the government body, and then things that are really reasonable, things that are enforceable, and things that help build the community and bring us closer together.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Wilhelmsen, Councilmember Wilhelmsen. Okay. A common opinion of Harrisville citizens is seeing growing business in Harrisville. Some would like to see large business growth, and others don't want to see any at all. What's your point of view concerning business in Harrisville, and what will you do about your point of view to make sure it happens?
Great question.
Really long questions. I apologize. I did not read these ahead of time. Okay. There you go.
That's all right. I haven't read them at all. So. No, as far as big box stores, we were all excited when Walmart came in. But what a lot of times is, yes, it drives a lot of business, but once again, part of that business comes from Ogden, part of it comes from here. We don't see all the taxes. But one of the things we do see is the crime that goes along with the big box store. And so therefore, Harrisville now has to have police to help enforce those things. And if we don't have a large enough police force or other crimes are going on, that's one of the challenges of a big box store. Small businesses, basically the intent behind that is there are two types of taxes that we can have. One's property tax and one is sales tax. That's what a community lives off of. So we're talking about promoting small businesses. I think one of the things that was allowed now is to have home businesses. However, if home businesses don't pay their sales tax, we don't profit from it at all. So there's a lot of different ways. As you know, from the legislature standpoint of state, we cannot go into a business and make sure it's not hazardous, because state law won't allow us to do that. And that's a concern. From here, we can't even keep track because we're not allowed to that. So there needs to be good communication within the legislation. There needs to be good communication over here with people. I think small businesses is a great way to do. We do not have the land mass to have a large box store. But in some of the community areas, we can have small stores. That's what we're doing up on 750 and Highway 89. So those are some of the things that I think do. Communicating with people, and then along with that, making sure our public is aware of how it's going to help.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Gilboy, this is going to be question 21, and it's a little funky, so just stare at it, okay? It's been reported that Harrisville City has been approaching people who own water shares along 4 Mile Creek to surrender their water shares and then to turn and sell the water as secondary water to citizens. What is your stance on water and property rights, and will you place the interests of the city over the rights of its citizens? This person does not have an opinion about this question at all, whoever submitted this. All right.
So I guess I feel like I don't know exactly what that situation is in regards to, but just I do feel like our I feel like as a government we need to let the people have the rights, and again, I don't know if there's extenuating circumstances. I don't know exactly what's going on in this situation, but when possible, I think we need to let people run their own lives and be in charge of their own property.
Okay, thank you. I think the hardest part of moderating a debate is not answering the questions. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, well, some of this, yeah. Other things, I had no idea. Cemetery thing, totally lost. Okay, let's go ahead and bounce to Grover. Back to Grover. Question 16, what steps will you take to ensure responsible and cost-effective government spending, including a commitment to reducing waste and unnecessary bureaucracy in the city?
I'm going to sidestep the issue because there's something that I wanted to pass on. If you look at your property tax, there is districting that belong to the North Ogden Cemetery. And a lot of us are already in it, and we're already paying $8 a month, or $8 a year. Oh, is it $40? $14. Well, you and me, so we can both die. Okay, got it. No. But anyhow, if you look at your property tax, you'll know if you're in the district or you're not. And that's where a lot of this comes out. We didn't know until we find out that we are. So, passing that on. Now back to your question. I don't know how much time I have here. Say that one more time.
All right, pause.
Oh.
I haven't been counting the repeats. So 16 is, what steps will you take to ensure responsible and cost-effective government spending, including a commitment to reducing waste and unnecessary bureaucracy in the city?
Well, first of all, having a full city that can run effectively as a program is probably the first and most important thing. When we talk about bureaucracy, you're also talking about how are our city employees working effectively and efficiently to do their job. And we see, first of all, in a balanced budget. We expect each of our departments to stay within that balanced budget. If there's money that they can spend, we give them the autonomy to spend that money. But if they're going outside the budget, it's very heavily discussed before we start spending money. Along with it is the transparency that needs to go along with that. The balanced budget, or the budget, is always posted. It's there. But along with that, those departments heads are always coming to City Council and reporting every once a month so that we're informed of what's going on. And that, I think, is one of the best ways of transparency. So it's already in the minutes and in the records. And that's, I think, the best way to do it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to bounce back to Mr. Gilboy for this one. Question 12. Economic growth and job creation are vital. How do you plan to attract and retain businesses by encouraging job growth and entrepreneurship in the city?
I would just say that we do need more businesses here, and so I think there's different ways to attract businesses, but I think one of the best ways to attract business is to get out of their way. And so often people have, there's an opportunity to make money here, to profit, to benefit, to grow, and if we get out of their way and empower businesses, I think that's one way that we can help, facilitate some business growth. I would also just say, there's some different ways that I think the city can partner with small businesses and things like that. I think even yesterday at the Harrisville harvest party, some people were talking about why don't we bring food trucks to this? And again, there's a lot of different small businesses. We can let them operate at events or in our parks. It doesn't cost the city any money. We can generate a community event and also some tax revenue. And then there's also just some other different things with, the Harrisville happenings. We could promote businesses and feature this month. It's, yummy. They got popcorn and ice cream, and maybe there's a coupon in there. Just some of the different things. We have eyeballs on these things. It doesn't cost the city anything, and now we can help promote some of our businesses and help make them feel more appreciated in our community as well.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Ms. Taylor Fawcett. Number 14, the cost of living is a concern for many. What measures will you take to manage and possibly reduce the tax burden on residents, particularly during challenging economic times, while adhering to conservative fiscal principles?
So obviously lately we've had a lot of inflation and a lot of people are on fixed incomes, especially the elderly. Hopefully they've been in positions where they've been in their homes a little longer and they maybe have paid down their mortgage, but we're still in a position where it's just hard. It's hard for everybody. And some of the things that I have researched is some discounts for special groups, people who are on the, with disabilities, the elderly who are on the fixed incomes. But really, I know that we've talked about this. It comes down to we've got to bring more businesses in to help share that tax burden and to ease that off of our citizens. We don't have a lot of space other than 89. I know that Blair said something about somebody didn't want it to be another Riverdale Road, but if you look at 2700, it's kind of starting to be a lot more busy, and North Ogden is getting all that revenue, and they are building it, and people are coming. So we need to have that kind of a mindset. I know that we want to keep our characteristics of Harrisville, but if we keep things the same as they've always been, they will always be that way, and nothing will change, and we'll never have anything that's better than what we have now, and people will continue to bear that burden individually instead of with those communities, or with those businesses and as a community.
Thank you. Okay, and back to Councilmember Christensen for our final of this section. What, in your opinion, is the essential purpose and function of municipal government? And how does that differ from the other levels of government that we have?
Yeah, this is quite the question. For me, municipal, meaning I believe just local, something we need to really just concentrate on our citizens, concentrate on watching out for them, doing what we can to listen, to share what we believe, share what they're asking. I'll be honest, I don't 100% understand the whole question, so I'm not going to sit here and...
To be fair, I was out of questions and I just added that one. So that's my fault. Okay. So I'll clarify since I just did that. The difference between municipal government and the other levels, meaning county, city, county, state, federal, that kind of stuff. What should citizens be expecting from their municipal government that's unique to that role?
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. What they should be expecting from us is us doing what they asked within reason. We need to listen. We need to follow up on things that are happening in our city, and by doing so, being transparent so that they can see nothing hidden, no hidden agendas. It's all out front. It's all on the minutes. As somebody else mentioned, the budget is publicized. We all know what it is. We all can look at it. We all have a say in it. And then make sure that currently right now, as the department heads come to us and want to spend money, it has to be approved. It has to be okay. They're not just out blowing money whenever they want and whenever they can.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the next questions I'm going to ask you are going to be fun because I'm just making them up. So just if you have a question, that's fine. But what I want to get into a little bit is a little bit more of what this role is for people, so they know what to expect. You guys have done a good job talking about what you want to accomplish and answering their questions. But specifically, we all swear. Every elected official swears an oath, right? It's the same one. Same one we require of law enforcement, same one we require of our judges, judiciary, and that is the constitutional oath of office. What does that mean to you? Have you guys read it? Does anybody know what it says? Okay. What does that oath mean to you, and why do you think we require that of our elected officials in this country? Go ahead. Yeah, start. Yeah.
Thank you. One thing I always like to teach my kids when growing up, one thing you have to remember is you always tell the truth, because then you do not have to remember what you said. And that's the honest truth. I mean, if I tell you a story, it's going to be the same story to you, because it's the truth. And that's something that's big. And when I took that oath, when I was elected, it means a lot to me, because I'm here being 100% honest with you. Promising this, promising that. You're not going to hear any promises from me, that because I know I can't keep them if this happens or if that happens. But if I can make a difference, that's what I'm going to promise you, because I can make a difference, and I feel that I have. And that's something that means a lot to me, that people know who I am, what I'm about, and hopefully that's what they're after, and that's good enough, because I know it's important to be able to represent this city, represent the citizens of Harrisville, and I hope that's what they know that, and I hope that's what they're looking for, because I will continue to do that.
Okay, we're going to go 90 seconds on these ones, since that's what you just took, and I meant to tell you a minute, so everybody's going to get 90 seconds. Go ahead, Grover.
Taking an oath and a promise is a big deal to me, because I try to live my life according to honesty and truth. And if I tell a fib, people can read it on my face and they'll say, "You're not telling the truth." And so I've learned a long time ago, like Blair said, tell the truth. That's what it is. So when I took that oath, that was a commitment that I'd represent Harrisville City, both the city, but more so the population within, to take care of the needs of the individuals, and try to take care of the ordinances and laws that take care of our city. And along with that, the services that we provide is there. And that's a very big thing. The time you need to have a policeman in front of you, maybe only be the once, but if he's not there, that makes sometimes all the difference. Or, gee, we're getting flooded. What's going on? How come we haven't done more work in our public works to take care of these problems? And I can tell you, we have people in our city that are doing that, but being as a representative, I have the ability to go and sit and say, explain to me what's going on, because somebody up the street's going to ask me what's going on here, and I need to have that information. Then you're communicating one-on-one or two-on-two, things like that, one-on-two. Taking care of the needs of individuals, that a lot of times. I always like the story of the starfish. One guy's throwing him back into the sea. Somebody says, "We can't throw him on." He says, "No, but I saved that one, and I saved that one." And I think that's a lot of times the commitment I have for the city.
Thank you. All right, Karen, go ahead.
Right. So, for me, taking an oath is more than making a promise. It's so as a healthcare provider, I've taken an oath to do no harm. And that oath is life-changing for somebody who's responsible for the health care and well-being of other people. And to me, I don't make a promise that I don't intend to keep, or an oath that I don't intend to keep, with as much preciseness as I possibly can. So that's something I take very seriously. It's something that I strive to keep when I make that oath and promise, and I will do everything that I possibly can to represent the citizens, to keep the promises that I make, and to represent them as they would want to be represented.
Thank you. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think in all areas of our life we should operate with character and integrity. But then to be elected as an official, again, we do represent our city. We represent, when you go out at Walmart or wherever we are, we represent our city. And so we do need to, be men and women, council members with honor and of integrity. One other thing that I think of is the word fiduciary, which is essentially, I don't do this for my own benefit. I'm going to do what's best for our city and what's best for the citizens. And I think that's an important part of being on the city council as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for the record, I pulled up the oath just now, so I thought I'd share that with you. I do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, or the state of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. There are some variations of that for the military, but for us, that's it. And it should be a big deal, and that is the contract that we make with our citizens, right? So we should know what's in the last line of the Fifth Amendment when we're about to take somebody's property, or we're about to change our policing policies. What's in the Fourth and the Sixth and the First, right? Okay. We have just a little bit of time left, and so I want to give you a chance to answer what you believe is the most important function of the city, and how you intend to ensure the success of that function. Does that make sense? Think of what 1 minute for this one. Think of what that function might be, and we'll just go in reverse order that we just completed. So I think that means you're up, Dan. Yeah. So we have those submitted ahead of time. We might have one if you want to give it to Spencer. Yeah. Go give it to Spencer in the back. Yeah. Go ahead.
So what I think of when we think of the most important function of the city is to protect our citizens, and so I would think of our police force, and we need to give our police force the resources that they need to be able to keep us safe and protect our families and our property.
Okay, Karen.
So for me, the most important function is to, well, I guess it's I'm going to say a few things and then pretend they're all encompassed. So, but having a safe place to live and be and have a sense of community. It's important to have a sense of belonging and a place where you feel that you can go and be and have neighbors and feel that you belong, that you're safe, that your body is safe, that your home is safe. And to me, that is a crucial piece of just living. And those are the things that are guaranteed in our Constitution. And so I think Dan said some great things about the police, but it's just a matter of fostering a sense of community and being able to come together and the things that are important.
It's all right. One of the things guaranteed if you do a town hall here is that there will be a train, right, when you're making your point. Okay, Grover, go ahead. What is the most essential function?
I think one of the most essential functions of a city is to take care of the needs of their citizens, and the responsibility we've laid into a city is the very basic essentials of protection of your property and your individual rights. The ordinances therefore are protecting their citizens. The opportunity to have a police force, so that there is a justification of taking care of and mediation or protection of the individual. Along with that, I think public works, take care of our roads, our facilities, sewer, things like that. Those things are critical if we're going to have a good day on an average day. How many of us think twice when we flush our toilet in the morning, or take our shower? There's a lot behind that to make sure those needs are taken. I think that's part of the essential parts of a city and taking care of us.
This is a question I wished I could have went first.
Yes.
I think everybody's already hit this one on the head, that safety in our community, whether it be the police force or anything else that includes safety, plowing the snow, whatever the case is. keeping our community safe, feeling, being able to feel like I can walk down the street and everything's fine. My neighbors are great, and just being able to be a part of this community. It's been fun. I love it. I still love it here. And but again, having safety, again, whether it's police department, public works, whatever the case may be, it's all important to make it a good place and a safe place to live.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions here. Okay, and so I think what I'll do is I'll give back and forth each of these to two of you. Or no, there's three. There's three. We'll just, yeah, okay, we'll mix it up. Okay, are you ready? 2 minutes. We're gonna do 1 minute on these ones. Okay. As a two-part question. Gotcha. Okay. I'll start with that one then. Okay. Did you know that the homeowners are not getting any form of proactive communication from the city? And how are you going to communicate to residents that don't receive the flyer in their property bill? You mean the bill from the county? The water bill. Okay, Karen. You said it. You shouldn't have, because that put your name in my brain. There you go. Did you know that the homeowners are not getting any form of proactive communication from the city? And how are you going to communicate to residents that don't receive the flyer in their water bill? Thank you for the change.
So I think there's a few ways. I mean, we've talked about the Facebook, we've talked about the website, reading the minutes, and it has to be, we're proactive by putting those out on the website and on the Facebook and trying to maintain those, but also that second piece is you going on those websites. The other thing that we can do is an email list. There are services sometimes where for texting, the texting list, but those things do cost money, so that they would have to be approved in some kind of process to be that proactive. So really, I think that we have to be mutually responsible to get that information out and find ways that are preferable to the residents through email, text, phone calls, whatever it may be, so that we can get that communication out.
Okay, Blair?
Yes, I agree with that. Right now, the minutes are on the public website. Some people have never been on there, so it's not easy to get on, but they are there and you can find them. But I think there's an opportunity here that we can do something more for the public to be able to see this stuff. What the answer to that is yet, I don't know. But it is going to cost a little bit. Whether we make, I don't know, whatever we decide to do. What Dan mentioned earlier from the gentleman in North Ogden, that's a good reason or reasonable opportunity that we can do a Facebook of some sort. I know we do have Facebook already, but maybe we put a general section in there saying here's the information that needs to be promoted or set forth to the community, and that's something we can definitely look into.
Thank you. And I'll give this second one then to starting with Grover. How are you going to prevent a large property tax increase in the future?
I think it's a very simple question. We recover what we lose every year, which is a couple dollars a month, a couple dollars per household. The reason we were in such a big hole was because the previous city councilman said, we are not going to increase, we are not going to increase. And so therefore, the money was taken out of other places, or else public, or its employees were let go, literally. Not fired, but let go. So now, that's the only way to balance the budget. Okay, now it comes to the point in time we have 7,000 people here. How do we service them? How do we take care of them? I don't like 166% increase. I don't want to ever do that again. I walked away, and I still have heartburn and feelings over some people that ripped me apart as I sat in the council and just listened. I don't want that. So the best way to answer that is in small increments and creative ways of getting money that will help supplement. There are a lot of things that are happening right now behind the scenes to get money. And we have to just talk to the different
Thank you.
municipalities.
Okay, and then the same question, how are you going to prevent a large property tax increase in the future, Jan?
Yeah, so again, I think we've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but I think if we can foster more business development and growth, I think that's, hey, if you know, if someone wants to buy some land and have whatever business, I think again, we keep kind of mentioning big box stores, but there's a lot of different businesses that people want to develop and have here in Utah and in Harrisville. So again, I think business growth will help us keep our taxes low, but then also I agree with Grover, incremental, you know, so to go, I think, it was almost no tax increase, property tax increase for years and years and years, and all of a sudden you get punched with 166%. It's shocking and not what we want to do for a city council or for our citizens, for sure.
Okay, thank you. So one last question, it's 30 seconds or less. What's your favorite aspect of living in Harrisville? Okay, and since you got the last one, you get the first one this time. Okay.
Favorite aspect of Harrisville, again, community. I grew up here. I love it here. I intend on staying here. The small community feel. Everybody knows everybody. That kind of stuff. We help each other out. We have each other's back. It's okay to mow somebody else's lawn. It's okay to not turn them in. Go ahead and mow their lawn. Do those kind of things. You don't know what they're going through. Go ask them. Go help them. And that's what I love about this city.
All right, Grover, go ahead.
I think last night's fair was one of the things that was the most positive I've seen. And we had that sense of community. And it was not just Harrisvilleites. There were North Ogdenites, there were Ogdenites, and things like that. I think that's the thing that helps me the most, is that I feel like I have a good place to raise my family. I want to make sure that that's there for my children, our grandchildren, or yours to do the same thing. And by the way, how many of you put Harrisville zip code on and put Harrisville instead of just 844 because it goes to Ogden?
There you go. Good catch. Okay, Dan, you're up.
Yeah, so I would say for me, just raising our family here, it's wonderful. There's a lot of different, like again, last night, community events. Again, very nearby community sports. Our kids are in Harrisville baseball, Harrisville basketball, dance here in Harrisville. And it's just a great place to raise a family, great place to live, and we really love it here.
All right, your cleanup hitter, Karen.
Okay, well, we moved here, I said 10 years ago, and it's been a great experience for our family. At first it was a little bit rough because you were kind of an outsider, but now that we're on the inside, it's awesome. We love it. We do have that sense of community and that sense of service and a sense of belonging, and that's what I love best about it.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to give each of you your final 2 minutes for your closing pitch. This is your elevator pitch. Whatever you didn't get out, or if there was a question that you didn't get asked that you'd like to address, here's your shot. Okay, you ready? Everybody excited? Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to start with you this time, Blair. Go ahead.
All right. I was going to bring this up before Grover just mentioned it, but I'm still going to do it anyway. Remember, anybody that's listening, you order anything off Amazon, 84414, taxes will be collected in Harrisville. So just make sure that you're putting Harrisville, not Ogden. So you're 04? Just put Harrisville. Make sure you put Harrisville. Anyway, that's something that's big. People don't know this, and I just want to make sure everybody knew that. And I just want to know, or want to make mention that being on the city council has been an amazing opportunity. Not easy at all. Sorry. That tax increase, I lost sleep many, many nights. But it was the right thing to do. And it was hard, and we were not very we were not well liked, and maybe we still aren't, but it was still the right thing to do, whether it was incremented, would you like it in 3 years, Or was it okay to do it in 1 year? I don't know the answer to that. But the answer was it had to be done, and it got done, and it was the hardest decision we made on this council. And so, would I do it different? I wouldn't. It's the way it is, and whether that, I will never answer a question to get elected. I can tell you that right now, because I am who I am, and I'm here for the public, and that's what I'm all about. And I love this city. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I love being part of it and serving the public, serving the community. Thanks.
Thank you. Karen.
I'm a sympathetic crier, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. So one of the things that I did want to address, talking about fiscal responsibility and spending, I've had the opportunity to work in business with my husband for a lot of years. I've worked in a lot of big hospitals as some senior administration, and I think one of the things that we could do is be really inventive or innovative. We could do utilization reviews with the money that's spent, see where it went, if it was effective where it was, if there's a place it could have been better spent. But overall, I just really look forward to an opportunity to serve. As a mom, you serve. As a nurse, you serve. See, here I go. And as a nurse practitioner, that's what you do. You're a public servant. And I think that this is just a bigger opportunity to have an extension of that for me, to be able to serve and to help those in need and to make the changes that are positive for those in our community.
Thank you. Dan.
One thing that I just was thinking about is if I'm elected to be on the city council, just two questions that I think we need to ask ourselves whenever we're going to be spending taxpayer money. Is this something that benefits the majority of our city? And then also, is this something that is competing with the private sector? And if so, then we need to maybe let the private sector take care of this. And those are two questions I think I will ask if I'm elected, and I think those are good guiding principles. One other thing I just wanted to say is that I think a quote I heard a while back is that leadership is not about taking charge, leadership is about taking care of those you are in charge of. And again, if I'm elected to be on the Harrisville City Council, it will be an honor to take care of our city and our citizens. And I do believe it is a great responsibility and an honor. And I just thank you for this opportunity tonight.
Thank you. And that cleanup is
Last batter up. Okay. When I was growing up, I was taught to serve. I stood by my father as we went and visited families. And I was taught very young that it was an important part of being a part of the community. And now as I'm a lot older, and on the other half, people come up to me with the comment, what about this and what about this? And we trust you. That sinks really deep into my heart. That tells me they're confiding in me, they're supporting me. I need to turn around and make sure that the decisions I make are taking care of our people here. You know, you bring up the good question as far as you're maybe not getting the information, even though it's transparently out there, people are not reading it or they don't get the newspaper. I have no problem with the phone caller coming over and knocking on your door and saying, let me sit down and explain what's going on. And we'll pull it up and look at it together. And I invite opinions, I invite your feelings and emotions. And sometimes I can't answer the answers, but I'll be glad to go get answers and bring it back to you. I think that's what public service is all about.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and wrap up there. This has been fun. It's been a good conversation. We've answered all the questions that have been put to us here. Harrisville is lucky. You're going to have good people here, however this turns out. And it's going to be a hard decision, I think, for some people. But there's one thing I want to just wrap up with, and And this is universal. Back to that sort of constitutional. Not this isn't part of the Constitution. But when I tell you what it is, you'll understand. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Why do we have government? Because all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that it is for these ends that governments are instituted among men, to protect those. Life, you guys got the answer right. You know, I was trying to trick you up with the most important function. It doesn't change, right? Whether it's federal, state, right, or local. Governments exist to protect those rights and to make sure that we can thrive. That's why we swear that oath to the Constitution. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you for tuning in, everybody that's there. Again, big thank you to Jason Hadley for running all of our equipment, getting everything set up for us, and Spencer Stevens for the organization, and of course, Bonnie Heyer, and bonus, council member from Ogden showing up to help us with the timers. Rich, thank you for being here. Again, Representative Ryan Wilcox, any further questions, please feel free to type them in here. This will be public on our Facebook page here. We'll leave it up so candidates can, we'll tag them if you want. We can, forward those on, whatever we need to do to continue this conversation. We'll also post their communications, their email addresses and phone numbers so that you can, assuming that they're going to give them to us after this, so that you can contact them directly and have those conversations. Continue that conversation in your own neighborhoods as we prepare for the election. And we have just a little bit coming up. Ballots should be out here right at the end. Remember, the election cycle is different. So we screwed it up for you, but it was really Congressman Stewart's fault. It wasn't ours. Yeah. But that's coming up here towards the end of October, so watch for that. Ballots were mailed today. There you go. So you're gonna have a little bit of a window there to get that in. But remember, the new date is that's Tuesday right before Thanksgiving, which I believe is the 23rd. 21st. Don't wait till the 23rd. Okay, everybody correct me. It's right. Yeah, that is Thanksgiving, right? That's why that's stuck in my head. Okay, the 21st. 21st, make sure you're voting on that day or before. If you have your ballots, you're going to mail them in. You need to make sure you mail them the day before that happens, like we've always done with the mail-in voting. Okay, any other questions, anything I need? Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it again. Have a good night. Okay, nice job, guys. Good job, you guys, for no rehearsal.